Hi, my name's Christine Armstrong, and I've been talking to families all week who are telling me very much the same things. They are feeling lethargic, frustrated, bored, stressed. Their children are feeling the same way, and many people are just feeling they've really lost that kind of flood of energy, a little bit of frenetic excitement that came with the early days of lockdown. So, as we head into Easter, what better time than to get some advice from Sarah Clark, who is a wonderful child and family psychologist and therapist and counsellor, and see what wisdom she's got to share with us.
I've been talking to people all week, and I am getting a sense that people are feeling a bit glum, a bit lethargic. What are you hearing at the moment?
I was thinking about this today, and my first degree is in psycholinguistics. So I've been having to think about language. And what it's occurred to me is that we need to be really thinking about the language we're using around this, because I'm seeing that there's a big paradox between what we're being told to do and how easy and simple it is. It's just three things, everybody. Stay inside, keep 2 meters apart, don't go out unless you have to. And what that actually means in terms of people's real lives and the massive shift that we're all being asked to make in terms of our lives, our jobs, our families, our relationships. And I think it feels a bit like the simple message. People are feeling bad that it seems so simple and that yet they don't know why they're struggling to keep up with it. We're human beings. We're hardwired for connection. We operate best when we're being sociable, when we're with other people, when we can look into their eyes, when we can have conversations, when we can have a hug, when we can just chat things over. And that's even harder now than I think it's ever been before. And yes, everyone's saying, isn't it wonderful that we've got Zoom and VC and all these other ways of connecting? But you know what? It's just not the same thing.
How are you managing to keep socially connected in this weird time?
With great difficulty, actually, because I'm the only adult in the house. And so it's interesting that I really noticed in the first 2 weeks, I was just so busy. I was so busy. And I had to actually stop and think, why am I so busy? I'm kind of ignoring my children because I'm so busy. And I came to the conclusion that maybe busy was my way out of feeling anxious, feeling angry, feeling sad, feeling lonely. And I think I hadn't got the balance quite right. And although it was scary for me to take the holiday like I always do and to put the out of office on and email all my clients, my students, and say I'm taking some time off, I could feel that kind of panic about what am I going to do if I'm not at work? What am I going to do? Where's my sense of purpose in the world? And it was just about reminding myself that actually my priority does need to be my children because they're scared and they're frightened. And it is a really good opportunity to spend some time together. I still don't think I'm getting it right all the time, but I feel like I'm trying a bit harder this week rather than just last week shutting myself in the spare room and saying, I'm working, don't disturb me. If I don't want to feel anxious and scared and worried, I really know that I need to limit my intake of social media and Instagram ideas of what families who all seem to be doing a lot better than me are doing, and stop watching the news. It's really important that we keep ourselves aware, but especially if there are children around, really make sure you're careful about how much that's on in the background, what kids are picking up on, what we're watching, what our intake. We'll get too much of it at some point.
I have a question about telling children you're afraid, because Celia, who we just met, does worry about things sometimes. And I sometimes wonder whether telling her that I'm afraid, whether that's reassuring or whether that signals to her that actually it's a very real threat.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I think there's something about it's the way in which we do it. So there's a big difference between being really calm and saying, yeah, I feel afraid too, and actually looking like we're slightly hysterical, crying and clutching onto the table as we talk. So saying it quietly and calmly, and then adding on to it the fact that there are powers that are holding us as adults as well. So saying, I feel scared too, but then I remind myself that the NHS is incredible and they're working as hard as they can, that scientists are working around the clock to find a cure for this, that the government is looking for ways to help families with everything from food to finances. And that's one of the things I remind myself, that there are lots and lots of people and organizations who are trying to look after us. And in the same way, my job as your parent is to be here to look after you.
Sarah, thank you so much for your advice, and here's wishing you all a very good weekend. I hope the Easter Bunny is extremely generous, and if you want the full audio, it's in the link. Thanks very much.